Hey everyone, Josh here. Doing a video on a deep idle mod on this V10 TDI. With the whole COVID thing going on right now, it's making it a bit trickier to get this thing licensed and stickered. So it's giving me a bit more time to play around with the tuning side of this. So the deep idle mod, it opens up your VNT vanes a little bit. Gives you a bit more of an engine sound rather than the turbo whistle. So there's a few DIY videos on how to do this on the ALHs and stuff. So this one's going to be specific to the V10 and EDC 16, which the smaller 4-cylinder like VEWs and BRMs use the same ECU or similar ECU. So this one's a little bit different because it's got a master-slave configuration. So it's got two ECUs. There's one there and there's one underneath it there. So the tuning is a bit different on this one, but we're gonna go through it and see the difference. So I'll start this off before getting into it, that you are responsible for doing this. I'm not liable if you break your ECU or anything like that, so use common sense. So first off, a few things you're gonna need is a V10 TDI. Going to need a Rostec VCDS cord or something to do some logging with, a Kess V2 OBD flashing tool, a laptop, and then obviously Ksuite as well as WinOLS. So multiple places online you can get all this stuff, so where you choose to get it, it's up to you. So first off, we'll start with the VCDS and get some parameters figured out. So basically with VCDS, what you're going to want to do is find out your idle values. First off, RPM as well as the injection quantity at idle. You're going to want to do this just at idle or just above idle a bit, because when you're doing is you're opening up the vanes. It makes the turbo a lot less responsive. At low RPMs, the vanes are all the way closed to help spool the turbo up quicker. Then as your RPMs increase, it's going to open them up. So you want to do this only at idle, so then you don't have a dog of an engine in the low range. So just there we go. Car's been sitting for a bit and flashing tunes on it, so it's been draining the battery. Put the seatbelt on. So there's block 1, or group 1. So idle is 609 RPM. Injection quantity is about 5.5. So you're going to want to set your settings just above it, but we'll keep this in mind. Now we're going to basically pull the file off these ECUs. So to pull the file off this ECU over there, you're going to want to make sure you have a good battery, which I don't. So I don't have a good charger either, so it's hooked up to a TDI outside. My laptop, it's got a good battery, but don't want it to die during this, so it's got a charger on it just for fun. And then you have your Kess. So now I'm going to switch to screen recording and carry on from Ksuite. So with this master-slave ECU system, it's a bit of a different one compared to just the single ECUs. So you're going to go Kess V2, we're flashing through the OBD2 port. You're going to find the VAG Bosch EDC 16, and then right here you have U31, U34, V10, M&S K-line, so that's obviously V10, master and slave, and then you're flashing over K-line. So you're going to select it, it tells you what you want to do. So reading, you're going to read only the master ECU, and then we're going to edit only the master ECU file, and then when we write it, first we're going to flash it to the master and then flash it to the slave once it's done. So Ksuite kind of covers all that off pretty good. I'm just going to hit OK. So this comes up, so we're going to go, right now we're going to read it. So select, we're going to select master. So it wants you to make sure you have a good battery. So you got to do a bit of a key dance here. So first you switch it on, hit OK. Now shut it off. Switch it back on again. So now it's ID'd what's on this ECU. So you hit OK, proceed to write, so make sure you got a good battery level, which it is. So it's got a TDI hooked up to it running. So you hit OK. Do another key dance, so shut it off. Turn it back on. This part takes a little bit, so I'll probably speed this up in the video. So there we go, so you can save it to wherever you want to save it to. So I'll just put, this is already an edited file, but I'll just save it again. Going to switch off key. It's as easy as that. So next up, we're going to open this file in WinOLS. We're going to find where it is, what to do with it, and then up next is going to flash it back on. Here's the file opened up in WinOLS. So this is the one I just read, and this is my stock one that I edited. I kind of found all these maps. It takes quite a while to do that, so I'm just going to cover off the N75 map in this video here. So we're going to be viewing in 16-bit data, and then you're going to be do hexadecimal numbers and high-low. If you start scrolling in, I mean, there's some pretty irregular shapes, but you'll know in a hurry if you're in high-low. Everything's kind of reversed. So yeah, scoot along. There'll be a bunch of different maps here. It's going to be closer to the end on this file. Not every file, but a lot of files are different. So depending on which file you have on your Touareg will depend on where it is exactly. I clicked on this one earlier, so this is it right here. You can see the kind of the flat spot, and it starts dipping down in a hurry. You have a few that kind of look similar around it, not quite the same. So this is a 13x16 map. So you click on it. These numbers really don't mean a whole lot. Swap axis here. So your x-axis here, so 0 to 5500, so that's definitely sounds like RPM. So you can add that, no factor offset because 5500 is true RPM. So this one here is going to be injection quantity. So that's why I had you look at that with VCDS when we started. So fuel IQ, oops. And it's going to have an offset of 0.01, I think. Yep. So there's 0 to 42 milligrams per stroke. We'll add precision 1. There you go. And then this map in here, that is percentage. So this offset will be 0.01, I think. Yep. So we were around that 600 or 650 RPM range and about 5.5 to 6 milligrams per stroke. So we're gonna have to edit this x-axis here. So I'll do this in my edited file, so I can just flash my edited file to it when we're done here. So I'll X out of that. So here's my file. So we were about 610 or so, so we'll bump this, bump this up to 700. The map was pretty similar down this low RPM range, so I'm not too worried about kind of making everything gradual. So 700, and we'll go, so these ones here, it's up to you what you want to change it to. I wouldn't go all the way down to 0, but let's do, I don't know, change it to 25. So that's just changing yours from 700 RPM and below and up to 8 milligrams. So you can edit that down a bit if you want. You don't have to. So I'm going to save and export this file. Actually, no. Okay, we'll do this again. I'll save it to this one. So I've got my originally edited file here. So now I'm just saving it as V2. Going to save, and we'll flash it on here now and see what it does. So now to write it, you're going to do master first and then do slave right afterwards. So make sure you got good battery again. Just follow along with what it wants you to do. Hit OK, proceed to write, yes. Make sure it's the right file. So that's what I just saved it as, V10 version 2. So hit OK. I have to do the key dance again. Usually writing's a lot quicker than reading. Only downside is you have to do it twice, I guess, so I guess it's not really any quicker then. But, I'll fast forward through this. So there's the master done. So don't start the car up until you have the slave done as well. So let it do its thing here. I'm gonna go to writing again. Make sure you click on the same file again. I'm not sure what would happen if you put the different files on, but I'm not about to find out. So I'm going to slave. And then basically just do everything that you just did, do it all over again, but on the slaves this time. So it just ID'd it again, so now we can proceed to write. So it's the same thing, make sure it's the right file. There we go. So I'll fast forward through this one as well and start talking again when it's done. So now the slave is done. So follow what it says to do. It's all done. So it pretty well does exactly what the name of the mod does. It makes it sound a lot deeper at idle, and it seems like you can hear the turbo spool down a little bit more. At 25% that I'd set it at, that's definitely a nice number. I don't think it's too far. I haven't played around with settings too much, so maybe the next version of my tune I'll maybe bump it up or bump it down and see, and I'll maybe add that in the description or the comments whenever I get around to doing that. So just right now I'm going to check with VCDS and make sure it's doing what I thought it was supposed to do. Here we are, group 11, duty cycles 25%. Take it up off idle, it's now about 75, so just about how it's supposed to work. See if you can hear the difference. Overall, I think it was a cool add-on for the mod. I'll maybe do some more videos in the future on tuning this V10. I'm not a professional tuner by any means, so I guess take whatever I say with a grain of salt. I'll definitely, this mod is definitely worthwhile, and yeah, if you try it yourself or you like it, let me know in the comments, and I guess like and subscribe. And I've got lots of V10 content on my page. I'll maybe link some in the video here if you want to check some out. And yeah, that's about it.